How can I fully inhibit and use my body and be complete and liberated human being? This is very important. You see, this is where language begins to play tricks with us. I want you to make a conscious step towards that rehabilitation. There is no such thing as you inhibiting the body. Body is not a car here. Body is not a vehicle here. It's a very limiting example. Your consciousness, your awareness, and your body here are one. It's very important understanding. One is the expression of the other. It's not like you are inhibiting your body. I've heard these conversations, even very intelligent, very smart, educated people, they give this example and they talk about human body as a spacesuit. Just like astronaut wears a spacesuit to go out into the space. And the body is spoken about. This is a reductionistic perspective. Not only it is reductionistic, it's not at all a proper understanding of the body. Body is a conglomerate of energies, divine frequencies. In fact, the body is the sole purpose of this whole ordeal, if you want to give it that perspective. So the body here is at once the body of the universe. So in other words, our body projects infinitely into the space-time. Infinitely. It's just, of course, our local experience, which is tapered, subjected to the sensory perception, terminates at the level of where the parameters, let's say, of the sensory perceptions, or how far the sensory perception can go. But that is not the full picture. The full picture is that with the power of our mind, we can project ourselves anywhere beyond the speed of light. So the power of thought, the power of imagination, makes us one with the entire creation at a split of a second. And that's not only at the level of mental ideation. We're not talking about just imagination. I am sitting here and imagining. No, our body, literally, when we speak about the body here is in itself, you see? Let's look at it like a dot versus that infinity. Body here, simultaneously, human body here, simultaneously, projecting itself out into the entirety of space-time as the entire universe. So in other words, our body, although localized and experienced here and now, in terms of the fullness of its reality, projects into the entirety of the space-time. Whilst at the very same time, even as this moment in time, as the conglomerate of all that what's happening at the level of the body and all its processes, it's also an entire reflection and manifestation of the universe. That's the quantum understanding. So in other words, our reality is cosmic at a given. So therefore, there is no such thing as inhibiting the body. It's a way of thinking about it. And I invite you to maybe entertain and embrace different understanding that there is no disparity whatsoever between your awareness and your body. Even if body will be subjected to this and that as it does. The body is subjected to pleasure and pain, extremities and the extremes of expressions of varieties of sensory experiences. Body is subjected to all sorts of imbalances. disease, illness, decay, of course. But that's not to be understood in terms of what's happening at the level of temporal expression of the body, that somehow body is corrupted, you see? I think it was in Berlin that we spoke about it on Friday. Well, I might be mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong, but in one of the videos that the team has produced recently, I gave example of a rose. A rose. So, yes, rose as a plant, an expression of that particular frequency in awareness, as a flower, doomed to die when it is even in a state of the bud and opens up only to lose its petals. But that is not due to the corruptibility of the rose, isn't it? The beauty, the expressive potentiality of rose is actualized in fullness of what it represents precisely through that what the lifetime of rose here is. We could say the same from the lifetime of a moth, butterfly, lifetime of any creature. So the embodiment here is all there is. But it's not to be understood in, again, reductionistic terms. So this is where I welcome you to reconcile this, so that you can begin to embrace fullness of your embodiment, fullness of the expression, potentiality of what you are, so as not to allow certain aspects of life to pass you by, you see? Because of certain formed preferences and certain maybe fears that may be there, somehow finding their pockets and finding their place in hiding.